Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Rockin' Social Media podcast. This podcast is for DJs, entrepreneurs, business owners, anybody that uses social media on a regular basis. This is the place where you are going to gain loads of knowledge about Instagram advice, Instagram tips, everything that you need to know to be able to grow your brand online using social media. Each week we're going to be going into social media news as well, having a little look at what is the latest trends and what's happening in the world of social media. So let's get this first one underway. Please do remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, just to subscribe to the channel. And also if you're listening to this as well on the audio for the podcast, then make sure that you are subscribing to the podcast on iTunes and also leave a review as well. It really does help with getting more people to know more about this podcast as it's a brand new one. Okay, so if you're ready, let's go straight into this first episode. And the first one, we're going to be talking about optimizing your bio. One of the most important things that you need to be doing on your social media. This is what you do to get everything ready for all of the new followers that are going to start coming to your page, right? Optimizing your bio. Let's jump in. So, optimizing your bio, first of all. So why do bios matter so much? Think of it like this, particularly on Instagram. This is your billboard. You know, back in the day, they'd have big billboards dotted around advertising different things. When you go to Ibiza, there's big billboards everywhere. That's what your Instagram page is. You need to start thinking of it like that. So you need to have the best content on your page, and your bio needs to say exactly what it is that you do. Who are you and why should I follow you? That's what you need to do. That's the top part. So let's talk about that. Let's break that down. So you only get 150 characters on Instagram to be able to tell your story. So you really need to be clever about this. Definitely get ChatGPT to help you with this, but it's really something you should be thinking about. And like I said at the beginning, just focus on those really important parts. Who you are, what do you do, and why someone should follow you. A few things that you definitely shouldn't have in your bio are links to other pages, because people will click on them and then they could forget about going back to your page in total. If you want to highlight another area or a different brand or something else that you're promoting, then use the highlights section for that. That's another great way to link to that in your stories, save them down as a highlight. And again, one of the biggest messages that you need to get across is one of my favorites, which is Start With Why, which is an incredible book by Simon Sinek. So really think about your why you DJ. And when you think about that, that's going to really help you kind of write your bio. By all means, have a look at mine as well, at Paul Hutchinson DJ or at Rockin' Social Media Agency, to give you an idea. And have a look at other DJs' pages as well that you aspire to be like, or that you are impressed by. You really like the look of their page and the feel of it. Have a look what they're doing just to give you some ideas. The other really important part that you need on the fourth line usually is your CTA, which is call to action. Now, this is where you're asking someone to do something. You need to really have this mentality on social media. You need to make things really easy for people. So the only place you can add links on Instagram is in this bio. You can't do it in the feed. So you can only do it here and in stories. So this is why you have a link in your bio, so that you can add all the links. So when you do a post, let's say you're promoting a new radio show, you can say in that post, click on the link in my bio to listen to my latest radio show. So that's where the importance of this link in bio comes in. And your call to action should say, click the link below for more information or something along those lines. And then you need to make sure that you have a great link in bio. I highly recommend Societap. They're a great business and they really do come up with some great ideas for content that you can put in there. It's almost like a mini website. I've had before where I haven't even had a website. I've just had this Societap link and it performs exactly the same way a website would. Remember, around, I don't know what the figure is now, it's about 92% of people view a website on a mobile phone. So it's really important that your website is optimized for mobile. And that's the great thing about Societap. It looks great on a mobile phone. So check that out. socialtap.com. You can also add up to 5 links on Instagram directly. Now, I wouldn't recommend using all of those 5, but you can definitely have a couple in there that highlight to really important pages that you want to send people to. So whether that be your website or something that you're promoting at the moment, whether you've got a new track out or you're doing a retreat or something like that, you really want to focus on, then have a link that just goes directly to that as well in Instagram. And once you've got this one down, the other important part about your bio as well is there's a couple of things that I haven't pointed out yet. Your profile picture. This is a huge one. So you need to make sure that your profile picture is really clear. There's a really good picture of your face. There's nothing too much going on in the background. If you're a DJ, it really should be an image of you DJing, but it needs to be a clear image. Nothing too fussy. You shouldn't be too far back. You shouldn't be too close to the camera. Just a really nice, well-proportioned image. And some people do remove the background completely from their photos as well and just put a color behind, like I've done on mine. That's another good way just for your picture just to pop and just to stand out a bit more. So make sure you've got a really high quality image as your bio photo. The other part is your name at the top there. That part is searchable on Instagram. So rather than just putting your name, which is probably a duplicate of what you have at the top anyway for the tagline for your Instagram page, is to have what it is that you do. So let's say you're a soulful house DJ like me, you should have in there your name and then soulful house DJ. That way, when people are searching for a soulful house DJ on Instagram, your name will come up in the search. And that's really important. So whatever it is that you do as a DJ, a business owner, or whatever, an entrepreneur, make sure you're having that part where your name goes, what you actually do, because that will help with search. In that bio section as well, just underneath, you have the highlights section. Now, think of this highlights section like tabs on your website. So these are like the most important things that you want to send people to or highlight them to. So again, going back to the DJ analogy, if you're a DJ and you have a regular radio show, you should have a highlight that features your radio show. And then what you do is you post a link in your stories to that radio show, to the latest one. You could have like a track listing or whatever, and then add that to the highlight button. Now, that way you can keep storing up all of your radio shows in there. And when a new person arrives on your page and they look at your highlights, they can click on the radio show one and they would potentially be able to go back and listen to all of your shows just by clicking one button. That is what I'm talking about when I go back to the beginning about the simplicity of everything and making it easy for people. Other things that you'd have in there is maybe reviews, so testimonials from people that you've played for. That's another really good one to have in there. I definitely recommend having a About Me button as well. So create some stories that tell people about you. So why you started DJing if you're a DJ, or why you started your business if you're a business owner. And just go through your story about, the kind of music that you play or the kind of business that it is, and really tell people the story of your brand. And that way, when new people come to your page and they want to find out, so they look at your profile, they want to know more about you, they can click on this About Me one and straight away read a lot more about you and kind of get to know you, because that is what social media is all about, is being social and getting people to understand who you are as a person. That way you can start building relationships. So have a really good think about what you can put in your highlights section. Make sure that they're branded as well. If you're a business and you have a certain color palette, make sure that that color palette is shown on your Instagram page. Make it clear that that's what it is. Should match your website as well, so that if someone goes to your website, they'll see the same sort of colors that appear on your Instagram page. Now, a little pro tip that's from my book, Amplify Your Brand. And if you haven't heard about this is my book. It came out, I think, beginning of this year. It's called Amplify Your Brand. Loads of great tips and advice in there. You can get this on Amazon. I'll make sure I link it below in the notes of this podcast. But one of the things I've got in there is about remembering that what you put in your bio is not set in stone. There's a couple of things that are. when you change your name, you can only change that every 14 days, I think. But your bio, you can change every day if you wanted. So I actually recommend that you do this, that you try a few different things and see which one works. If you notice that you're starting to get a lot more followers, then it could be because what you've got on your bio is working really well. But if you feel like you're not gaining followers, then change it up. It's also great for using, if you've got a new track coming out, if you're a DJ or a producer, then add in there, a bit more information about the track and the link to it, say in the call to actions, check out my new single, you can buy it now on TrackSource, hit the link below, things like that. You could have that up just the week of the release or something like that. So really think about your bio. And like I said as well, have a look at what other people have got, what other DJs or business owners have in their bio, and replicate that something that works for you. But make sure it's written in your voice as well. So your key takeaway from this week's podcast is for you to go away and have a look at your Instagram bio and rewrite it. Let me know how you get on. I'd love to know your thoughts. And you can always drop me a link to your page as well, your Instagram page, in the notes of this podcast when it goes out. And I'll have a look at it and I'll give you my feedback. Okay, and to wrap this up, every week we are going to look at the latest headlines for social media and see what's going on. So let's start with Instagram. Now, one of the biggest things that I've been waiting for a long time is finally coming. It's not quite here yet. I've seen a few pages have this. I personally haven't got it. Is the ability to rearrange your grid. So to move photos around. That's a big one. That's going to be coming to Instagram very soon. So keep an eye out for that. I believe the actual functionality of it is going to be in the edit profile section. So you click on that button and you should see a button there that gives you the option to be able to move your feed around. So keep an eye out for that one. That's going to be a great one. Also in the Edits app for Instagram, if you haven't got that yet, I highly recommend that you download that. There's some great tools in there for editing videos and looking at analytics of how videos are performing. They've also got a new feature on there that allows you to have a teleprompter. So, if you're reading lots of text on the screen and you want to read it from an actual thing that's scrolling down on your phone, you can have this function on. So you go into the Edits app, put in the text that you want to show up on the screen, and you'll see it scrolling down slowly. As you're talking, it will move up. A brilliant way to be able to talk. If you're going to forget what you're going to say, it's a great way to do it. So check that out in Edits, brand new teleprompter feature. And then jumping across to Threads quickly. This is still a growing platform. There's still a lot going on here. And there's still going to be a lot of things added to it. But the amount of people downloading it has definitely grown. Particularly in places like Hong Kong, they've been getting some really big downloads from over there. And other places around the world are starting to pick up on Threads as well. So if you're not on there, definitely make sure that you've got an account. But remember, it's not the same as Instagram. It's almost like Instagram's version of Twitter that is now called X. So it's a lot more of a conversational site rather than just sharing images. So make sure that you're using it the right way. Again, if you need any help with working out these platforms and thinking about content to put on there, just put into ChatGTP, help me put a structure together for Threads. And another one is LinkedIn, another great one for businesses. If you're not on LinkedIn, then you definitely should be. It's another platform that's really growing lately. A lot more people are going on there and using it. I definitely think it's worth doing this as a strategy if you're a business, particularly if you're B2B. It's more B2B than it is B2C. So yeah, make sure you've got a decent bio again on LinkedIn. So all the stuff I talked about optimizing your bio on Instagram, you should carry this over to all of these other platforms as well. There's only so much you can do on TikTok. LinkedIn, you can definitely do loads, and there's loads of little extras that you can do as well. Again, in one of these episodes, we'll talk about that. Facebook, all of the stuff you can pretty much do on Instagram, you can carry over to Facebook as well. So there you go. That wraps up this first episode of the Rockin' Social Media podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, please do remember to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast on Apple iTunes as well. Drop a comment below, let me know what you think. And if there's anything in particular you want me to talk about, drop that in the comments as well, and I'll put it into one of the forthcoming episodes. But thank you for watching this first one. If you want to know anything more about Rockin' Social Media or me, just head to rockinsocialmediaagency.com or hit me up on Instagram @PaulHutchinsonDJ. I'll see you in the next episode.